machine moving, carpentry part of setting forms. But the millwrights at Clinton Company, we were basically machine repair. But the only thing is because of the union had rules. As millwrights, we couldn't weld. In the real world, if you can't weld, you can't be a millwright. So I went out and I went to college and took welding classes. And, I mean, I could weld and cut and everything as well as, but it was all training I went out and did myself. But and then I went on shifts for one of the other guys came off shift, so I was a shift mechanic on my old shift and my dad's shift for 2 years or 3 years. You know, it's kind of hard to say, but I just swung shifts and rotated shifts for that whole period of time. Well, everything went along pretty fine until 75. And then in 75, some of the mechanics were those who were fired or suspended, and their lives were all wrecked, so they came and I came off a shift so he could go on shifts. And so then from 75, I was back on days for the most part. And now you're doing the same thing. But I was still the youngest. I was the youngest mechanic for 4 years. And any job nobody else wanted, guess who got? But they finally got some apprentices, and I want to say how, you know, those guys all came in 74 or 79. They came in and they were starting to get out of their time during when this all happened. So some of them actually had just gotten out of their time when the strike happened. But I loved it. I loved being a mechanic. I loved being a millwright. I loved being on days. And, you know, I made good money, and I figured I was going to be there forever. End of story there. Just didn't work out that way.
Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about that you hadn't a chance to? Yeah.
No, not really. I was kind of letting you guys ask the questions. I was going to answer. Works better that way.
What do you think happened with decertification? What was the why do you think it happened, and why?
I never did understand why or how come. One thing I know is Mike Knutson was, you know, that one. Anyway, they first, for whatever see, the apprenticeship was a federally controlled system. I mean, it was all, we were all, I mean, I got U.S. Department of Labor certificate and everything else. I mean, I think, and to be honest with you, I think that was part of it. I think they needed to get rid of the mechanics and the skilled trades so they could openly bring in all these clowns they brought in from Davis Construction, which was Bacon and Davis out of Houston, which was just a huge, can I use the word scab, operation. They brought these clowns in and they weren't smart enough to pour water out of their own shoe, but they were mechanics. Well, the only way they could get some of the mechanics back in was to decertify. And after we decertified, then there was 6 people that I know of went back in, mostly in supervisory positions. And actually after they decertified, I got called. They wanted me to come in and train Davis on how to repair these big bathtub gear units and stuff, because I was one of the better ones at it. I got every one of them that ever showed up. They called me. I was going to be making less money than the guys I was training, and it was a short-term hire. You know, didn't really seem to me like a good idea. But why it happened, not sure. It happened. I mean, it definitely happened. And I mean, we marched up, every one of us marched up there, and they asked us a couple of questions, and Knutson sat there and made a statement. He didn't know who we were. He had no idea why we would say we're that, you know. But he had protection on both sides. It had him way back. More than one person went after him. And he was just a malcontent from the word go. the malcontent is part of the problem that we had in the first place. And he was on the board. It just happened. I don't understand all the reasons, I guess.
There was this vote, right? So you had the vote. Why do you think the vote? Well, you know, did they just not let people vote, or was there? Yeah.
Well, yeah, all the mechanics wanted to go back to work. I don't think there's any of the mechanics that wouldn't want back to work. Very, very few. But there was also some of the mechanics that had been fired that were, I think, part of the root cause. You know, and like I said, it was always a Mexican standoff between the union committee and Bob Coon. It was a standoff from day one. And I can't remember when Bob actually, but I want to say he was there in '75 when all the stuff started happening. You know, and like I say, the dates get kind of fuzzy after a while.
Well, do you have any questions?
No,
I think we're all good. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
Thank you. Well, like I said, I figured I had some perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely.
I mean, if you wanted perspective, you might as well have mine as well as anybody else's.